We all know that Catholics don't like it when you use technology to prevent conception, but apparently they also don't like it when you use it to facilitate conception either. Here's why they oppose in vitro fertilization.
First of all, the child deserves to be the product of the loving union between a husband and wife and a conjugal embrace of husband and wife making love the way God intended.
What do you mean, deserves? You make it sound like you are committing some kind of injustice to a kid by not conceiving him or her by doing it. Does anybody really think, I sure am glad that I exist because my parents had sex? Do people really feel more comfortable realizing that they were the product of their parents boning? I don't know about you, but the thought of that does not make me more comfortable than the thought of being conceived by a technician in a lab somewhere. If I found out I had been conceived in vitro, my first reaction would be relief.
The second thing is that God designed the marital embrace, sexual union between man and wife, to have two components. One is the unitive, where they come together and they're totally unified. And the second is the procreative, where they're open to a new life, a new child can be created. And what in vitro fertilization does is it separates those two, or attempts to, and the procreative is the only goal, and the unitive is not. So the whole sexuality of the husband and wife is really torn asunder by in vitro fertilization.
Well, usually the reason why people resort to in vitro fertilization is because they are unable to have children without it. If they are having sex and not conceiving, then all they are getting is the unitive component. The procreative component is already absent through no fault of their own. If they cannot conceive, the unitive and procreative components are already separate, and the husband and wife are not the ones separating the two. This is another reason why it is odd for this guy to think that you are denying a right to a future child by conceiving that child in vitro. He seems to think that being conceived without sex is worse than not being conceived at all.
So because of that, the church does not approve of it. It also turns the child that's produced into a commodity. The child is no longer viewed as a gift from God, but now is viewed as a commodity, something to be produced in the laboratory. And you have interlopers, if you will, in the relationship of the husband and wife. You have technicians, you have doctors who are now part of the conception process, when really that process should be between the husband, wife, and God.
This does not turn a child into a commodity any more than hiring a doctor to deliver the child does. You get help from others in birthing the child, so why is it wrong to get help in the child's conception? If a doctor gives the husband Viagra for that purpose, is that wrong? How about the guy who sold the couple their bed? Is he inappropriately involved in the child's conception? How about the guy on the radio giving advice to the couple about the pious and godly way to conceive? Do you think that maybe that guy is inappropriately involved? Now, there may be real medical risks involved in vitro fertilization, and they may be worth considering in consultation with your doctor. But these goofy, rambling, theocratic arguments are not.